Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Ooh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Ceadery. This is episode 552. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
KC, how are we, pal? Have you recovered?
Yeah. Sort of. Not really. Not entirely. I'm not as tired today as I thought I would be after spending almost a week in Atlanta.
I hope no one's listening from work. I took a nap in my car for like 15 minutes today because I just couldn't.
Are you not entitled to a lunch break?
Not when you have that many emails to come back to. Wow. That's the only downside to. I understand the structure of the way they do it, but like that's the only downside to a home run derby and an All-Star game being on a Monday and Tuesday respectively. Like,
correct.
I think that needs to be looked at and considered a possible adjustment. Weird days, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for having it on a weekend, but it's really just the fact that you have the build up to the All-Star event or home run derby, All-Star week, I should say. You have the build up, but the weird thing is that there's games still going on.
Yeah,
like over the weekend leading up to it, and then you roll right into the derby.
And it's just there.
And then. I don't know, man. It was a lot, but all in all, a good week down in Atlanta. It was. I have to say, it was different seeing it in person.
Yeah,
because at least for me, you've been to an All-Star week before. This was my first time. I feel like it's one thing to sort of, comment on it or break it down from the perspective of watching it through the TV, but being there in person is completely different. Like even on the flight back from Atlanta, I'm watching the broadcast of the Derby and the All-Star game on the TV, like on the back of the headrest in the plane. And I'm like, we didn't see any of this.
Yeah.
And that's not the product that I saw in person. Like we talked about on our live streams down there. The home run derby is almost, I won't say unwatchable, but the product, like I was saying, just completely different. And to your point, it's not built for TV, at least in the current format that it's in.
It's an in-person event. It's just the way it's what it's structured for, especially with the timer, especially with like. We talked about it, I think last pod episode, like when Bryce won it in 2017, it was 2017, 2019, 18. When it was in DC and they had the whole, like, it was fairly new at the timer, but like you had the whole wait until the ball lands before the next pitch can come. I think that was for TV. Like that was in mind of the production side of things. I think when we ditch that and now it's like completely out of the picture and balls are just flying, like it was so cool in person, especially the angle that we had. We were just like, oh, like you're like pointing out a ball that's like you're not seeing it off the bat. Like it's just halfway on this trajectory of being launched. And by the time it lands, you're like, oh, and there's just like going, dude, just going everywhere.
You'll see it in the vlog, which by the way, I've made my first round of cuts, so it's possible that there's still more work to be done. But I'm 10 minutes into this vlog from this week, and I haven't even gotten to the village on Sunday.
Wow. So it's gonna be like a good 2 hours.
It's a full length motion picture.
No big deal.
No, but you'll see it in the vlog. I caught the reaction of the O'Neill Cruz 513 homer. I didn't have my phone on the second that he hit it, but I had it up early enough to catch a reaction. And you're like, whoa, 513. And then like as soon as you finish saying it, you're back, you're like, oh, like it was just one after the other. And I actually, it was funny enough, I saw a video today where it was like, or I think it was like a TikTok where it was like the home run derby back then. And it was like the guy kind of like, loosening up.
Yeah.
Swinging balls like 20 rows deep.
Yeah.
Resets, next one. And then it's like the home run derby now. And it was just him like,
yeah.
it was like constantly nonstop and he couldn't even catch a breath. So I'm like, it speaks to, like we said, to the fact different product in person versus on TV. But
and we can get into like whether it needs to be adjusted or fixed. I think you're in the camp that like let's just go back to 10 outs. I think that is I think that is the right move. However, I think the takes need to be more limited because that is the problem. That was the problem back in the day. Was that like it's in between home runs and the guy's having 3 or 4 takes after each swing. I can see why, it's taking a half hour, 45 minutes to get through one hitter. That's a problem. If there's a way to get back to the outs, allow production on TV to keep up. And someone made a really good point in our group chat where like you get to see, like when you're watching golf, like you have that tracker behind, like there's a camera behind the guy teeing off, there's a tracker, and then you're seeing a camera that can follow a small golf ball, by the way, and typically a pretty plain sky because it's so high and it's above the tree line. There's not really anything else to see as far as a backdrop goes, but somehow golf has figured out how to do that. I don't think it's impossible for us to adjust that. Maybe it requires it to no longer be on ESPN. Maybe that's a different thread that we don't need to pull out right now, but there's ways around doing that. I think the biggest thing is like how long a specific round can take. And I think it comes down to limiting the takes and just going on 10 outs. No more of this timer stuff. There's a reason why we're seeing guys kind of like fizzle out. I don't know. Just me. Either way, I don't mean to like trash it because again, like it's sick in person.
Way better in person. Way better.
Yeah.
Cal
you've
Raleigh
watched them your whole life. Like you know what it looks like on TV.
Yeah.
Being in person, it's like it's that quick. It's that easy to realize. It's way better.
Agreed. Cal Raleigh with can we just call it like can we just call it what it is? It's a controversial derby win.
It is. It felt that way in person because there was no explanation.
Zero explanation.
Not until Greg Amsinger, who, by the way, I guess you're not hearing it on the broadcast, but Greg Amsinger was emceeing it to the crowd. And we're not hearing it until it's the semifinals. You're just looking up the screen. You're like, why is Raleigh up there and Rooker not?
You looked at me and asked me that very question. You're like, what is going on here? Turns out, we later find out that Raleigh's longest homer, which apparently is the tiebreaker, went further by 8. Let me get my decimal point spaces correct. Not tenths, 800ths of an inch. What is that? Come on. If I've ever said we'll break out the tinfoil hats every now and then on this show.
Yeah. Might
have to do it for this. I mean, you want to talk about pushing your golden boy to the finals. And I have nothing against Cal Raleigh. In fact,
me neither.
I think it's funny because again, this has all in all, this has no impact on the game whatsoever. I personally just think it's funny how Major League Baseball was probably under the assumption that they weren't going to have to pull any tricks like this. They're going, well, let's just hope our guy Cal does what he does, and we won't have to worry about a tiebreaker or a swing off or any variation of that. And they're going, well, we can't do a swing off for which reason? For what reasons? I don't know. First of all, like why can we not? We're doing a swing off for the game.
Yeah.
We can't have an actual like home run derby swing off in the home run derby.
3 swings, man.
I don't know. But then you just know they're scrambling, going, how can we pull this off? They said 8/10 of an inch. Go with that. So moves on Cal Raleigh. What a and in the chat, there's no way to measure that. I think Brent Rooker was even talking about how like there's margin for error. Like this StatCast thing, as great as it is, as much data as it can provide,
accurate.
It's not gonna. You're telling me it's down to an 8/100 of an inch? Crazy.
Just stupid, man. I felt for Rooker. I really did.
I really did too, man. He got got robbed. Got robbed. What was the most impressive part about the Derby for you? Whether it was a specific, I mean, I guess the easy answer is the 513 O'Neal Cruz, but was there anything beyond that, besides that really stood out to you?
I felt good about my Junior Caminero takes the last few weeks, or ever since we found out that he was in it, because he really did come onto the scene. You know, obviously being in the finals against Raleigh, like I think that was pretty cool. But I don't think people realize that, like, maybe they talked about it on the broadcast, but like Truist is not to left center is even down the line left is not that easy to do. And I get that balls were probably juiced, but I mean, baseballs are going
not for
30,
Jazz.
Not for Jazz. That's another topic.
That was the most impressive feat for me, by the way. Like that was the most impressive display.
Well, you went to the bathroom, well-timed bathroom
intentionally.
Visit. Yeah, well-timed bathroom visit. That's true. That could be the most impressive thing. I told you he had more foul balls hit behind him, not like yanked down the line, like fouled back as if you're fighting with 2 strikes, than he did total home runs, which is, you got to think, pretty difficult to do.
But Nate, don't forget,
he didn't want to lose the swing, man.
He gets paid a lot more than we do. He wants us to. Jazz wants us to know that, so don't forget that.
Yeah. I mean, I said it during the. I don't know if you got it for the vlog. We talked about it when we were in our seats. I don't remember if I was mic'd up for it, but the Dominicans have mastered the timeout.
Crazy, dude.
And I don't think it's really talked about how solid the timeouts are. Anytime a Dominican participant needs one in the middle of a round, he's got the whole squad. He's got someone on the towel fanning him down, someone on the drink, someone with the pep talk, someone like patting his neck, patting his face. Like and then you see like Rooker, and he's got like one guy that comes up to him and they're like, gives him knucks. It's like, hey, keep it up.
I don't even think he doesn't even know the guy, like the kid or the guy that comes up to him. It's just some stranger. But with the Dominicans, to your point, have you ever seen synchronized swimming, folks?
That's what it's like.
That's what it is. Everybody has a role. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And when they come together and execute, it's art.
Yeah. And they all have drip. Like Tatis always has drip, not even participating. So yeah, that would probably be my most impressive. I would say the Dominican timeouts.
Trying to think, any other thoughts? This last week has been a whirlwind. Was there any other observations from the Derby itself? My guy James Wood, I was feeling real good about James Wood after his first round, and then I think
the immediate exit, he was done.
I think at the earliest point he technically could be.
That's correct.
Eliminated was eliminated. So that was a real dagger for my guy James Wood. That has no impact on how I view him. He's still a
freak,
still a prince to me. Not sweet young prince, but a prince.
Yeah. One thing I think I noticed being in person more so than I remember ever recognizing on TV, and we kind of talked about it. Those money balls are not very easy to see.
No, dude.
They're like, I think that would really mess with me as a hitter to go from, pearly white, that's all you see your entire life hitting, to this like kind of like semi dark pink and white ball that, especially with like James Wood. James Wood was going when like at like sunset, and it was this weird, like still kind of bright from the sun, but like it's not dark enough for the lights to really factor in yet. I would struggle with that. I really would. And these coaches are zipping it in, man. They're not lobbing it up.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the balls like in the team shot. I mean, you're kind of sitting there looking at them. They're right there in front of you, and I'm like, I don't. Half the ball is like if you've ever played baseball or were up close enough to track a baseball. If you have half of the ball, that's almost a training drill or some
Big
sort of hitting exercise that you would do in the off season in the cage.
Yeah.
Like I guess I understand that there's maybe it's a multifaceted thing. Like maybe you're trying to signify that it is indeed the bonus round, but also make it slightly more difficult. I don't know if that was the intent behind that at all, but it's possible, like
maybe.
you're getting a bonus round, but it's not going to be quite as easy. You talked about the O'Neal Cruz thing. There were some Byron Buxton, I think, surprised some people. Matt Olson not being able to make it as deep as I'm sure he or the fans would have liked. That was a little bit of a bummer.
Big standing O.
Huge standing O. Almost, it was impressive enough that it almost said to me that like, wow, maybe they're okay with Matty O. Maybe they're more okay with Matty O replacing Acuna than I originally had thought. Because when I thought that news, I'm not a Braves guy, and I was distraught. I was like, man, I was really hoping we could see Ronnie.
Oh, that just would have been electric, yeah.
But Matty O slots in. They give him the standing O, like you said, and they were really behind their guy.
They were, and that like on top of that, like I know he's not having like the best year either, and I've at least from my perspective, I thought there was a lot of frustration around Matty O lately. But no, crazy support. We did, a bunch of the pre-derby interviews, and like there were a lot of people picking him as the winner. So, yeah, it was good to see.
The All-Star Game. We'll switch gears here, talk the All-Star Game. A historic All-Star Game. I'll just start off by saying that. First ever swing off we've seen to break the tie. Which real quick, I hadn't considered it until I saw the final score on the bottom line of ESPN when I was watching it the next day on the back of the plain headrest. Like I said, did not occur to me that they're just given a run. The winning team is just given a singular run, and I
saw that too.
I guess I could have assumed as much, but I was like, I hadn't considered how you actually score that. Like, does it go in the book as a tie, and then there's like a little asterisk? Like, well, like I don't understand what goes into that. But All-Star Game, like I said, historic. The event itself was great. The flyover, the Hank Aaron tribute, seeing that in person was like I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit there and like be looking over at you like, oh, how's he holding up? But I had to kind of do one of those, like take a deep breath and kind of just look away, look off into the distance for just a second, sort of collect myself, because they showed his wife
that,
and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm again not a Braves guy, but as a baseball fan, to see the tribute that they rolled out there and then to immediately cut to his wife, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I'm gonna lose it here.
Yeah. What an insanely cool tribute. I don't think I've ever seen a tribute like that in person. And like to see, because for those who like may have not known, like we watched it looks like maybe it was just done on TV. like kind of how they do like the graphic like on the back of a mound for advertising, where like obviously it's not on the mound, but it is showing up on TV. No, this was like actual projector lights on the field that we got to watch. So sick. So sick. Like such a cool way of going about it. And obviously you got Scully, calling it, and like it was just, what an amazing, cool thing, man. And the firework and like the footprints as like it's timed up as he's jogging around the bases, like really, really cool. Really cool. I'm playing with a chip clip, by the way.
It's all right. I got a pin over here. A little fidget.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and speaking of noises, by the way,
Hello.
If you hear a little rattling, just don't mind me. Just my Whataburger chain snagged in Atlanta. Shout out Hustle Sports. Shout out our guy JB, Bobby Witt's agent.
Shout out JB.
Shout out for the invite to the brunch during All-Star Week. That was exceptional.
Really cool.
Got to connect with a lot of good folks there. The event was sponsored by Whataburger, hence the Whataburger chain. So I'm gonna, me.
Keep the lid behind me, man. That hat is.
How about this? Yeah, man, right here.
I'll pull it out.
And the Whataburger hat.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing is gangster, bro.
That thing is nice, dude.
So sick. This hat is unbelievable. This is the coolest hat ever.
I mean, I'm a Whataburger. So when it comes to Whataburger In and Out, I'm leaning Whataburger 10 times out of 10.
Now
twice
it's
on
official.
Sunday.
Now it's like it's not even close. In and Out don't do nothing. In and Out don't have a chain like that, bro.
Get out of here.
Got that ice?
But yeah, the game itself, we mentioned the tribute, the swing off was really cool to see in person.
Getting on that swing off, by the way, because there was a lot of obvious argument.
Can I insert something that's very relevant here real quick? In the chat, Jake says, was shocked at how many people left the game early.
True.
So you had a lot of fans leaving early. I think it was 6-0 at the widest margin. And then they come back to tie it up, and then we get this swing off.
I think it was like 6-2 in like the 7th or something like that. And then I think Matty O had like one last AB. And then after, I think he punched out. No disrespect, but I think he punched out. And the stadium just cleared out.
Yeah,
Gone.
that's what it was. They were waiting for that last AB.
Yeah. And I'm talking like way cleared out. And you and I were kind of walking around. We were thinking about like, trying to find a new perspective. We were looking down and like Chop House looked wide open. So we were like, let's just go down there, man. It looks sick because they had to open up all the doors. But yeah, pretty strange that amount of people cleared out. To be fair, I mean, it is a Tuesday night, I guess. A lot of work to get. I don't know. It's just the money you spend to get in there.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And that's what I said. I was like, I wish I had the kind of money where you could pay to get into the All-Star game and then leave to go hit up the bars after the game, like it's a typical Thursday night.
Strange,
crazy.
But when in regards to the swing off, because like there's been a lot of back and forth, there's been a lot of comments, and it's like, why not have your dudes in there? Like, why is it ending with Jose Aranda? Again, no disrespect, but like he's clearly not.
They left early.
Yeah, this is decided. This was decided before the game. These 3 guys for both teams were already picked out. It was already decided because it had to be reserves.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. This is first time hearing of this. I thought part of the equation here was that certain guys were hitting the showers early.
It didn't have to be reserves, but like, yeah, those guys are gone. Like the second you had your Shoheis and your judges and your guys that like get their 2-3 ABs, they're rolling out, dude. They're gone. They're not even there. Like you didn't see them celebrate after they won because they weren't there. And that's kind of the whole point of them selecting guys that are like they know are going to stick around. They know they're going to be reserves. They're not starters. So I don't know. I kind of like it. I get that like you want the biggest, most exciting aspect of the swing off and like this new rule like to be revolving around our top guys. But like, are you expecting Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani to not shower, stay in the dugout for the next 2.5 hours, hoping for a tie so that they can be ready for a swing off after being chilling for a couple hours? Like
cold for a couple hours.
Like there's no way of that operating that way. So the fact that it happened this way is what it is. And I think that's the structure of it. But I loved it. It was immediately exciting. The second we saw the L screen come out, we were like, oh, snap.
Oh, it's going down.
Because I'm sure in the broadcast, they were like, yo, just a heads up. If it's tied, this is what we have. People inside, we were like, what's happening?
We had no idea. Yeah, I think even if we had heard about it leading up to it, I think people had just forgotten about it because there was a collective, there was like a collective understanding almost like at the same time.
Yeah.
Where people were realizing what was about to happen. And so people like we were already standing in the chop house and then we start and we're talking to this guy to our left and I look over at him and I'm like, let's hold our ground here. Cause you just know, like, I think somebody, you or the guy was like, yeah, people are going to start coming out like cockroaches and trying to fill in the gaps. And sure enough, people started making their way over and then they closed the doors of the chop house, I guess for liability reasons, but that's crazy.
That pissed me off pretty bad. I don't understand that at all. But yeah, then we had to kind of scramble, go find a new spot. But yeah, man, I don't know. At least in person, I don't know if it felt as exciting on TV, but like in person, it brought it right back to life. Like everyone was like immediately into it and in on every swing. And I liked it, man. Like that, I don't have anything really bad to say about the whole structure of it. I really enjoyed it.
My only concern is that there's gonna be like as you know, we process the swing off, as we look back on it and talk about it fondly, and then we revisit this conversation next year, should there be a tie, and the same thing may happen. That there's gonna be a growing conversation about should this be implemented into games that matter, and the answer to that is no. It's too gimmicky. Is this a great way? And I can't remember if it was you or somebody that we talked to, or maybe even on the radio or something. Somebody made the point that it limits using up innings for guys who are, I mean, call it like it is. I mean, they're making a commitment to be there. They don't necessarily have to be there, but the ones that are made the decision to be there and they're going to offer their time and their energy and all that. If this thing goes 15, 16, 17 innings, we're putting guys in a little bit of a jam, and you're impacting the start to the unofficial second half.
Yeah.
If we let this thing go too deep. So to look at this as an appropriate cap or finish to an exhibition, I think is fair, but it does not, it has no place in regular season or postseason baseball.
I don't know if I fully agree, to be honest. I think it should be kind of tiered in a way that I would say.
I didn't see this coming, by the way. I had no idea.
I mean, it's not like we're seeing a ton of 14, 15, 16 inning games, especially now. But I would see it. I could see something tiered where it's like, let's play the 10th and 11th straight up, and then like 12th and 13th with the ghost runner. And then at that point, if we're still tied, let's go swing off. It's kind of like what hockey does. Hockey does the shootout during the regular season and then just straight up OT during the playoffs. I don't think it's something that needs to be implemented in the postseason in any way at all. Same with Ghost Runner. Nothing like that. It should just be straight up baseball. But I get the argument of doing it for the regular season for the fact that, like, it's already pretty tough, especially when starters aren't going as long right now. And especially with, like, the number of bullpen arms that are going to be used and the fact that, like, it can really truly impact maybe the next 2 series after that if you have a 14, 15, 16 inning game. And I don't know. I'm not gonna. It's not a hill that I'm willing to die on, but I'll say just for the pure excitement of it, I don't hate it. I just don't know when it would be. I would love to see, like, give me 12 innings of regular baseball, and then do it. Just get rid of the Ghost Runner in general. Go 12 innings regular baseball, and then in the 13th we got to swing off.
That's an interesting question. Would you rather do away with Ghost Runners and have a swing off?
I don't want it in the 10th. I don't want to swing off in the 10th. I would rather have regular baseball for, yes. I would rather get rid of the Ghost Runner, have regular baseball for like 12 innings.
No, I hear you. Having like you said, like have it tiered, have like a threshold you got to reach. I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for those who are like, no, we can't have a swing off in regular season baseball. Would you rather do away with the Ghost Runner and have a swing off 12, 13, even 14 innings into the game? Or would you have the Ghost Runner? Would you keep the Ghost Runner if you had to have one or the other? That's an interesting question. I'd be curious to get people's takes on that, because that's because the reality of it is we're not going back to the baseball the way it was. We're not going back to a pre-Ghost Runner game. We're just not. So it's really kind of,
it just sucks that it happens right away.
Choose the lesser of the two evils, I guess.
And maybe I'm like my team sucks at it. If it's very evident when teams are bad at extra innings baseball, then it just sucks to see games end that way. So I think give these teams a better chance of winning straight up. And then, if you have, I'm saying, obviously I'd prefer regular season I'd prefer regular baseball in general.
Sure.
Nothing. I'd rather just have it happen. But if you have to have something to try and cut the game a little bit shorter in those crazy long crazy extra inning games, I don't know. This is at least more exciting. I think it's more exciting than a Ghost Runner.
Well, speaking of changes, real quick, because I want to get to a bigger point of discussion. Real quick, your thoughts on seeing the ABS challenge system in person? Because I believe we saw it. We were at the game, and it's hard to track what's going on every pitch, because you and I are chatting it up. We're running to grab food, this and that. But to my knowledge, I think there was only 2 instances of it being challenged.
I remember seeing 2.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think.
Or in fact, I only saw 1, and I asked you, and you said 2. So
yeah,
collectively, I think we only saw it twice.
I don't know. I mean, it goes back to what we were saying about the Rooker Cal Raleigh thing of being like this short. Like you saw one of them called, and it was like literally less than like a quarter of an inch touching the strike zone. And you're just like, what are we like? How is it that exact? How is it possible for it to be that exact? It's hard to buy.
Well, I can understand how, if you're trying, if the aim is to have the correct call, even if the margin of error exists with the computer ABS system, I could understand the argument for, well, it may not be perfect, but it's going to be better out of 100 instances than what the umpire is going to give you out of those 100.
I think what sucked is that it was like, I think one of them was in a big moment in an inning that got out of a jam, and the inning ended that way, which I think sucked.
Yeah.
And they just walk off and they go into the dugouts, and you're just like, it's kind of like the walk-offs where it's like a play at the plate. We can't quite celebrate fully because we have to review it. Like it kills the moment for me. Then yeah.
And I think I said that to you. I was like, You could be looking very realistically, like this is not a pipe dream, not far fetched. You could very realistically be looking at an instance where you've got a pitch, sort of like what you said. You've got a pitch to end the game. Even like if this ends up in postseason baseball, if it ends up in the World Series, there's a scenario where a World Series could end with everyone collectively in the baseball world waiting on an ABS review.
That sounds terrible.
Which again, it's very cherry picked, very nuanced. I understand that,
but absolutely,
it's a possibility because you could challenge the call, and it is what it is. Anyway, enough about the ABS because I don't think the sample size was large enough to really have a true feel for it, or to get a true feel for it. But let's talk about the question that I think is making the rounds right now. And it typically does this time of year. Is the MLB All-Star Game the best All-Star game in sports?
It's not even close.
I'm going to preface this right now because my tweet, I'm not going to
you caught some fire.
I'm not going to pump my tires here, but my tweet has, let me check. Well, I'm not intentionally trying to pump my tires here, but I'm just trying to give context to what I'm saying. It's been seen by 2.4 million people. My tweet was All-Star Game viewership by sport. MLB 7.2 million followers. We just got that yesterday.
A little down from last year, by the way.
A little down, but still comparatively
still better than everything else.
7.2 for MLB, NBA 4.7 million, NFL 4.7 million, NHL dumped their All-Star Game. And then I said, baseball, folks. And boy, did I hit a nerve with the hockey bros because they came at me guns blazing, telling me how great the Four Nations face-off was. And boy, did I throw it right back at them, telling them how much I loved the Four Nations face-off.
Yeah.
They didn't expect it. But my entire point, and they could not get this through their skulls, is that it's not an all-star game. The NHL had an all-star game as we know it as sports fans. They no longer have an all-star game because they did away with it because it was unwatchable. And what did they do? They replaced it with a tournament-style event called the Four Nations Face-Off that now serves in place of their all-star game event. So they don't have an all-star game that's relevant to this conversation.
Yeah, they're almost like eliminated from contention.
I will follow up that by reiterating the fact that I absolutely loved watching the Four Nations face off. I really only get into I get into hockey like in the playoffs. And then stuff like that, and the Olympics, and then this,
it was like a mini Olympics. It was sick.
Very high stakes hockey. I love it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watch regular season hockey. I don't. But the Four Nations face-off was incredible. But it's not an all-star game.
Correct.
With that said, that leaves Major League Baseball as having, I think, just subjectively and objectively, the best all-star game in sports.
Well, I mean, the NFL, the Pro Bowl is basically two-hand touch at this point. And it's like no one wants to, they just put their bodies on a line for months. And like, why would we go down to Hawaii and risk it again? You know what I mean? Like, let's just enjoy the trip with the family and not get hurt. So, which I can't blame. Like, I can't blame the players for that. The NBA, they don't play defense. Every year now, it's like 135 to 132 at the end of the game.
No, that's regular season basketball now. I don't know if you've seen. It's closer. I think the NBA All-Star games go
like
up
160.
They push like 200 points.
It's stupid, man. It's stupid.
Crazy.
There's no defense there. There's just the aspect of baseball. And shout out Ryan Ripken, because on his podcast he was talking about this. You can't fake throwing 100. You can't fake trying to hit 100. It has to be done with maximum effort. It has to be done with what we're used to seeing out of our players during the regular season. There's no way of faking it. You can't fake play defense. You can't fake hit. This is full speed because that's the only way we know how to play. And you're not seeing anyone up there trying to lob it. I mean, you had Clayton Kershaw with a mic on saying he's about to say, here comes the cheese, and it's 89 because that's his max effort. You know what I mean? Before that, oh yeah, it's Paul Skeens at 102. Like, it's maximum effort because that's the only way you know how to play baseball. It's the only way it works. Of course it's the best. Of course it's not even close. Of the major sports, I would put hockey second, even though it probably shouldn't even be in contention. Basketball third, and football, the Pro Bowl, last, dead last. I think the games are kind of cool where they're like, you know, playing dodgeball and stuff, and like you kind of see like their athleticism of what it looks like doing other things outside of football, but like I'm still not tuning in and watching that. It's ours. And I don't care about if it's the only sport on during that time. I don't care. You could put all the other sports on at the same time. Ours is still better.
Exactly. That was another point that kept getting brought up, is like, well, of course it leads in viewership. It's the only thing on. I'm like, this isn't 1960 when there's only 3 like broadcast networks on. Like we don't have 3 channels that we're choosing between. You could literally do anything you want in today's day and age. Like you don't have to watch the singular sporting event that's on. You can go do other stuff. You can take a walk. You can go fishing. You can eat a snack. You can take a nap. You can literally do whatever you want. You could go to the bathroom. You don't have to watch baseball. So that conversation makes 0 sense to me. Quite literally 0 sense to me. And Nate's getting more work emails, so we should probably wrap it. No, we actually we do need to wrap it. We're on a little bit of short of a little time crunch here, so wanted to just make sure we got our recap thoughts in there.
My charger turned off. Hold up.
All right. Got our thoughts on the home run derby. We're back. So is your email. We covered our thoughts on the derby, at least the heavy hitters. I'm sure we missed some things, but all in all, I mean, you guys watched it. If you're listening, you're watching, you watched it. I think we covered the main points of discussion here. But regarding the trip, I know there's folks that are going to want to hear about the trip, and we may cover that in the next pod if we think of it, or if lends itself to the conversation. But you'll get the full experience with the vlog that's coming. Like I said, I'm
genuinely give that a look. Give that a look. Kyle does a good job of editing and putting it together, and it's like it's just 2 hours of behind the scenes, hopefully fun nonsense.
It's not actually going to be a full motion picture, but it's going to be
at least an hour and a half.
Nah, not even an hour and a half. That was completely joking. It's gonna be good though. It's gonna be good. It's gonna have a lot packed in there. I've already cut out a lot of stuff that I didn't want to, but for the sake of sanity while you're watching it, I just want to make sure you get the main points. But
yeah,
all in all, great week, great All-Star week. Maybe we'll be at next year's in Philly. Who knows? Time will tell.
Hey-o.
But other than that, that's all I got.
You guys know the drill. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all as always. We're looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay